On March 11, 2011, a powerful 9.0 earthquake hit Japan, triggering a tsunami that left behind miles of devastation and destroyed homes, schools, roads, farmland, and entire communities. The tsunami waves reached as high as 38 meters. It swept away entire towns, rice fields, and dragged boats and houses far inland, some up to 10 kilometers. (18,493) people died as a result of the earthquake and tsunami. (128,801) buildings were demolished, and more than 1 million buildings were partially destroyed. The damage was estimated at 16.9 billion yen, $204 billion US. The disaster left more than 300,000 people homeless. (23,600 hectares of farmland were inundated by the tsunami in the Tohoku and Kanto regions. Miyagi Prefecture suffered the worst damage, with 15,000 hectares of farmland flooded by seawater, more than 50% of the total farmland in the area. As communities in Japan recover from tsunami and earthquake of March 11, 2011, there is a critical need to reevaluate the relationship we have with nature in order to create the change necessary to ensure sustainable futures for generations to come.
今年は
Two of the most important major shrines in Japan are both rebuilding their entire facilities this year. The Ise Shrine has done this renewal once every 20 years, and Izumo Shrine has done this once every 60 years. I do believe this year to be a significantly critical year, an important turning point for all of us. Shinto beliefs value the renewal of the mind, which constantly purifies the spirit. So this rebuilding signifies the renewal and revival of the spirit, as well as the passing down of the traditional Japanese culture and time-honored skills to future generations. All things considered, this year appears to be the time to change our perspective on life, our way of thinking, and to renew our spirit. We humans have been growing more distant from nature, so much so that we can almost consider recent human hardships as a kind of man-made disaster.
一昨年は未曾有の震災
In 2011, Japan was hit by an unprecedented earthquake and tsunami, which forced the people of Japan to rethink and reflect upon their way of life and the things they have come to value over their more traditional way of thinking. It was a wake-up call for all of us. Yet, even as we contemplate these things, it seems many of us have already begun to forget the important lessons this tragedy has taught us. Ancient Japanese people seem to instinctively know the importance of reforestation, so they continuously planted new forest land and renewed old forest when they cut down trees. That stewardship of the land and forests resulted in the forest land we have today. They seem to understand the forest helped retain water, and this resulted in the development of a rice-growing culture. Unfortunately, these facts have been forgotten today. We must relearn what our forefathers did and the reason they did it. We must observe their lifestyle and the benefits of that lifestyle, and we must strive to understand their way of thinking. There is so much to learn from their innate wisdom and traditional knowledge. If we do that and honestly reevaluate our modern lifestyle and way of thinking, I feel it would be possible for things to change for the better, and we would be able to contribute to helping create a peaceful world.
私たち貢献できるだろうとこう思ってます。
命を守る森を作っていただきます。土地本来の
The most important thing in life is life itself. We will create a protective forest together. The forest we are to create is made out of regional native trees. In this modern age, we are losing that kind of forest. For the last 4,000 years, the Japanese people have always created a forest of local native trees when they construct a new village or town. They have done this to nurture and protect the lives of the townspeople, the animals, the plants, and the surrounding environment. It is our great hope to continue this tradition. During the tremendous tragedy of March 11, 2011, many people lost their lives, including Otsuchi's mayor and over 60 city officials. After all of this destruction, you can imagine that it was astonishing to see trees native to the region, such as Machilis and oak, left standing and unaffected by the catastrophe that struck this area. Regional native trees seem to have great resilience and were able to survive even this severe environmental disaster. Living in this modern age, we humans seem to have lost the ability to perceive and appreciate the value of intangible things, such as life and heart or soul, maybe because these things are invisible to the naked eye. What we are doing with this project is reevaluating those invisible elements. By creating a native evergreen forest as a starting point, we hope to perpetuate life and its genetic cord with the future. We hope to preserve a way of life for the future, a way that has survived and which has served us well since the emergence of life about 4 billion years ago. I would like to see every crisis as an opportunity.
共生する本物のふるさとの木によるふるさとの森。
私どもは、命の森のプロジェクトというものを
Our ongoing project, Great Forest Wall, was designed to create a reliable protective embankment along Japan's eastern coast. We plan to mix debris with soil to create an embankment where we will plant tens of millions of Laurisilva seedlings, such as Castanospis, Machilis, and oak, within the next 10 years. We have been collecting acorns and tree nuts in order to cultivate seedlings, which we will then plant in the embankment. This is a large-scale project designed to create a great forest which we hope will protect us from unexpected natural disasters in the future. We have been planting seedlings which are expected to grow at a rate of about 1 meter per year. In 7 years, Japan will host the Tokyo Olympics, by which time these seedlings will be approximately 7 meters tall. Many townspeople here in Otsuchi are in favor of this protective green forest wall over the conventional concrete wall. Yes, because they realize a concrete wall wouldn't do as good a job of protecting their town from a serious high tide or tsunami. Not to mention, if the wall is damaged or destroyed by a tsunami or some other cause, it would create problems for inshore fishermen, damaging wakame seaweed beds and harming the fish and shellfish, such as shijimi clams. It would eventually create huge problems, destroying the current Japanese landscape and damaging many industries. For this reason, we felt we definitely had to come up with a more viable, natural solution to the problem. To build an embankment of trees is also more economical than building a wall of concrete. Not only that, it would be in harmony with the surrounding natural environment.
景観的にもマッチしたものができていくわけですから。
なんということを今してるんだということをね。
We must realize and take responsibility for the terrible things we humans have done and continue to do. The consequence of our desire to achieve high productivity rather than quality is the cause of the growing number of negative effects this mindset has brought into our lives. For this reason, I would like to suggest we return to a more natural way of life, which we can learn from our ancestors' lifestyle, a lifestyle that served them well for a long time, in which they learned from and lived in harmony with nature. Now is the perfect time for us to do that, for I think if we miss this opportunity to reverse what we have done, it will be too late. We should study and learn from nature. We have ignored those things that are invisible to the naked eye. We refuse to believe what we could not see. As a result, we began to believe that human happiness could be measured by money and material possessions. This materialistic attitude has become so widespread, it has reached every corner of the globe. We really have to understand that we are part of nature, that everything in nature is interconnected and interacts with each other in order to survive and thrive. We cannot live without everything that exists in nature, even microorganisms, which are invisible to the naked eye. We need to nurture an appreciative heart and mind to be thankful for everything in nature. If we can say thank you or you are beautiful to plants or flowers and really mean it, then we can reflect God's realm into this physical world here on earth. We humans had to experience all of human history to reach this year where we will begin the gradual awakening of the awareness that material possessions alone will not and cannot make us happy. It is this year when we must seek the proper balance between our material culture and a more spiritual culture. If we can learn to appreciate and be grateful for nature, to coexist with everything in nature, then our world will truly become a heaven on earth, a world of God, just as Mr. Mokichi Okada envisioned.
そうだったように、この神々の国になると思うんですよね。
Renowned Japanese philosopher Mr. Takeshi Umehara says, "Some say the great Northeast Japan earthquake and tsunami was a natural disaster that triggered a catastrophe. In my opinion, it was a calamity caused by our modern materialistic civilization." He continues to say, "Through the study of the Jomon culture and the ancient history and mythology of Japan and Japanese Buddhism, I have searched for answers to our modern problems by focusing on ideas embedded in Japanese culture, a culture which has thrived since ancient times. The time has come for a new civilization based on an ancient Japanese belief. Everything on earth, such as grasses, trees, and even rocks, is a living entity with a soul and a compassionate heart. Therefore, mankind is a part of nature, not an isolated superior being. This principle has been an innate principle of the Japanese people since the Jomon period. It is time to recognize that everything is interconnected and create lifestyles to reflect this simple truth. We can reestablish our relationship with the natural world by respecting, listening to, and observing nature. It is essential that we recognize the sacredness and inherent wisdom in the laws of nature. Gratitude and appreciation for nature are key. As Mokichi Okada said, nature can teach us everything.